Hello everybody! Today we are out and about to learn a little bit more about Korean culture. And what better place to start at the Changgyeokgung Palace. Here we are. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and we are so keen to actually find a little bit more of that Korean culture, because for the last few days, I don't know, we've been struggling a little bit to actually determine and distinguish what exactly Korean culture is, and what better place to start than at the historical places, right? So let's go and have a look around the palace.
Now the first thing that you are met with is the big beautiful entrance gate, and yes indeed, what a grand palace this is. Built in 1405, it's a part of the Joseon dynasty. It's apparently one of the most loved or most sort of sought after palaces during that time period. It's a fascinating place. There's definitely a different energy here in comparison to the city center of Korea. Now this is quite literally slap bang in the city center of Korea, so if you go just outside of these palace grounds, you will be met by the massive development and the overdevelopment of Seoul city center. We literally just took a metro to get out here. It didn't take us long. The metro is quite convenient and very usable here. Wow, I have to say already that I'm quite blown away by the general structures here. It's a very unique, and this courtyard is absolutely massive. It's huge. I can only guess as to what actually went on in here. And when you come through this courtyard, on the left of the courtyard, you're met with this.
Seems to be a fairly busy, well-visited place by tourists and also locals alike. And I feel like the main thing to do here is probably to dress up in the traditional gear and take some beautiful pictures around the palace. We didn't do that today, but maybe another day.
I hope you guys can hear us at all, because it's unbelievably windy today. I've no idea, to be honest, where the wind is coming from, but it's coming from every direction, it seems like. Let's go inside and have a little bit of a better look at this. Yeah, it's quite beautiful. The grounds are very well kept, and that's something that's standing out so far about South Korea, is just how well kept everything is. It's very immaculately clean.
Interesting, you're not allowed to use the original stairs. I think you have to go around.
Okay, cannot use the original stairs, possibly to not damage the stone. Yeah, it says basically to keep off most of the things here, just to not damage the original, which is totally understandable. This is going to make for some pretty incredible photos, I think. And you're going to see a lot of people coming here dressed up in the traditional clothing. So I think it's called Bukchon clothing style, or the traditional Korean clothing. It's very beautiful. We saw like a bunch of tourists that were dressed up in that way, and it's very nice.
Is this some sort of a shrine or something like that?
Yeah, I've no idea, to be honest. I'm gonna figure it out. We have our little brochure with us, but I'm not much of a brochure reader when we go to places. I prefer just wandering around and taking it all in.
Seems to be some sort, maybe where the current king or the current reign of the dynasty would sit on the throne here, potentially. It's a very sort of highly decorated and very colorful place. So this could be, probably because we're directly at the entrance, this would maybe be the place where visitors would be greeted, I suppose, by the king or by whatever monarch was sitting at the dynasty at that time. Which is very cool to see. It's a very sort of vast place. Like the entrance area. It also seems like, by the way, there's doors in between each of the little courtyards, so probably if there was some sort of an enemy coming in, you could close these doors and close those doors, and then you have the enemies sort of captured maybe in between the doors. But yeah, it's a very, very vast place, and I'm very curious to see what else we can see here.
Wow. So something that stands out about this straight away is the fact that it's built, and it actually says it here in this, so I'm kind of cheating, I'm kind of like reading off of this, but it says that this palace is actually built in harmony with a lot of nature, and you can see that there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of greenery, and it's something that is very interesting to see because Seoul, the city itself in general, and this is something that we want to just touch on because we've been here now for a few days, and the city of Seoul itself, in terms of like things to see and do, as a tourist, if you're coming here and you want to shop and you want to have good nightlife and you want to have access to decent food, Seoul is fantastic. But being totally honest, as a traveler, like as people who travel to discover things like this, cultural heritage, and to truly understand a lot more about a country and to sort of like adventure and meet different people, Seoul has been a little bit challenging for us in that regard. It almost feels like Seoul is a little bit soulless, which is funny because we've been struggling to find the soul. We have met quite a lot of the people, and that has been like incredible. A lot of the people have been very welcoming and heartwarming, and it's been very nice. But the general feeling that we're getting off of a lot of the locals here is one of sort of a constant uphill struggle. And I don't mean struggle in regards of money, I don't mean struggle in regards of anything like that. I mean struggle in regards of, there seems to be a lot of pressure on people here. There seems to be a massive focus on consumerism. So constantly having whatever is new. I don't know how to really properly put it across, but it seems to be like a combination of capitalism done to an extreme extent, combined with possibly the recent past of Korea. You guys obviously had the civil war and everything like that, and it kind of combines together to give sort of almost like a heavy feeling. And it's not something, usually when we make videos we like to sort of always focus on purely positives, or as much positives as we can. We will speak out when we see stuff that's negative, and that's exactly what we want to do here today. It's not exactly an entirely negative experience so far. It's more just one of, I don't even know, it's like a heavy feeling. People on the metro, for example, they're very much stuck like this, head down, focused on their phone. You don't see people talking to each other on the metros. You don't see people that much engaged or being very sort of socially connected. It seems to be a very individualistic culture. I just want to stop this talking track for a second to focus on just how beautiful this is. This is absolutely gorgeous. And the reason we came here, as Naomi said at the start of this video, is to try and tap into something that's actually Korean and that's not Western. Because if I'm being totally honest, Seoul feels like we could be in Central Europe. It feels like we could be anywhere. in the Western world. And like I said, that's not exactly like it's not a negative for many people. Many people will see that as that's nice, and this is why so many people seem to genuinely and thoroughly enjoy visiting here. I'm sure outside of Seoul you're going to see many more places that are similar to this, and we're going to be exploring those places here in Seoul today. But it's been a little bit of a struggle for us so far in this city, and I'm not going to lie about it.
And don't get us wrong, we're not criticizing it in the terms of our culture is so much better. No, we left our own countries a long time ago because we don't necessarily agree with our own culture, and we've been spending a lot of time in South Asia and Southeast Asia, a little bit of East Asia now. And I guess in Seoul, that kind of feeling that is missing is the feeling of, of community. We love to travel so many places and connect to the people, talk to the people, find communities, highlight whatever they have to offer. And I mean, Seoul is a very, very large city, and we get that it's a capitalist, consumerist focused city. Don't get us wrong there, we understand that. It's just more so that I guess we are struggling a little bit because we don't necessarily feel like we're fitting into that type of a society anymore, because it's a bit too Western for us, which is funny to say because we're standing in Korea. But this, on the other hand, is exactly the type of stuff that we are looking for. Now, if there were people around here that would still live in this type of a way, obviously not in a palace, but like just generally in houses on stilts or like highly decorated houses showcasing their own culture, that would usually be the access point for our videos, I guess. And I mean, we have to be honest, so far we're not really finding to fit in or finding an angle of how to understand Korea other than consumerism and that K-pop aspect, basically, which is not necessarily something that we would be looking for, I guess.
Wow. This is absolutely gorgeous, the way that it blends in with these gorgeous trees. Very, very beautiful. And hey, I suppose the reason why places like this attract so many tourists every day, and so many, probably millions of tourists every year, is because they're different. And that's exactly what I guess we're trying to touch on a little bit here. This here is something different. It's something that you feel like you can touch, feel like you can feel, whereas a lot of what we've experienced so far in Seoul, it has been very sort of McDonald's, Starbucks, that type of a thing. Yes, you can get Korean food, of course, but it's very much focused on shop till you drop, work till you drop. We've spoke to quite a lot of people that have said that it's quite difficult. There's a lot of social pressure here, and that sort of a lifestyle and that sort of way of living, constantly chasing money and materialistic things, it's a horrible existence. That's just our opinion. You don't have to agree with us whatsoever, but so far this, just looking at this and just being here, is already one of my favorite things that we've done so far here in Seoul.
Yeah. But also at the same time, it is just highlighting the architecture of that sort of dynasty. So you do see the palace, but it's not necessarily filled with that cultural aspect again. Yes, it is the architecture, but there's not, the background of it or whatever items that you might have to see in order to understand everything, or description of what is what, basically. Of course you can get a guide, but then you have to spend more money again.
I want to go upstairs though. I really want to go upstairs. Well, that was a quick look, and by quick, it was quite quick. I was wondering why it was only 3,000 won to enter, but it is quite small. It's like a large complex, but there's not much information. There's actually like no information whatsoever displayed around where the palace is, and I guess that's why you have the option to take one of these. But nonetheless, it's basically the architecture on display, and people seem to be going there with the intention of just basically taking photos, which is not really, again, what we are looking for. We were looking to go there and hopefully learn more about the Joseon dynasty, maybe in person, but it seems to be like a little bit of an Instagram picture taking opportunity, which is totally fine, especially if it's only 3,000 won for an entrance.
By the way, we have opted to buy an entire booklet of tickets, basically. One of these is just 12,000 won.
Yeah.
And it gives you the opportunity to visit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cultural sites, cultural heritage sites, I guess, temples and shrines. So yeah, if you are looking to do a little bit more in Seoul, this would be an option for you. You can obviously also only buy the ticket for this place.
100%, yeah. I'd actually recommend you probably to do that, because we're going to go and check out a bunch of other stuff today. But before that, we need to go and get some breakfast. So let's go and see if we can find something tasty. Gonna go for a wander.
Maybe there?
Maybe over here. Okay, so just across from the temple, we tried to see if we could get some food, but it's mostly, like I was saying, it's mostly Western places. So there's a Western gourmet place there. There's the Nice to See You, which I'm not gonna lie, we absolutely love these. The Nice to See You. You've got loads of fantastic like little snacks in there. You've got wood-fired pizza, which not really in the mood for. It's definitely not what we're looking for when we're looking for like a Korean style lunch. So we're going to venture now towards maybe the main street, get some breakfast, see what we can find, and then we're going to head to another one of these palaces, which is supposedly the main attraction, or the main palace attraction. So we'll see what that's all about as well.
We found ourselves a little store directly at the main road, which is called Suni's store, and apparently they have gimbap, soups and rice dishes, and also flour-based foods. So let's just go in and have a look what we can order. Annyeonghaseyo. Oh, okay, you have to order first and pay first probably, and then you get your food when you sit down.
Seems like it, yeah. They have a nice looking pork cutlet with rice. How nice is that look?
You want to try that one?
I think I'd wait, yeah. The door keeps opening. Bulgogi hot pot.
Ooh. I think I would like to have a bibimbap.
A bibimbap?
Yeah, there was just the page before this was bibimbap there. Yeah.
That looks very nice, yeah.
Hot pot bibimbap with beef.
I'm gonna try a pork cutlet.
Okay.
See how it goes.
And the bibimbap bulgogi. That's all.
And for
usually
drink,
water, you have
water.
Water? Yeah.
Is there? Okay.
Nice.
Nice one.
And all of that comes to 23,000 won.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, other way. Yes. Nice one. Oh, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Let's find a nice little spot and enjoy our breakfast. Ooh, one of our dishes seems to be ready. Wondering which one it is. Oh, it's my bibimbap. Oh, the egg is still cooking.
It looks so good.
Oh, so you have the full bibimbap here, which is basically just sort of little individual bits and pieces with beef and an egg and rice underneath. Then you have some pickled cabbage. I have no idea what this one is. That looks actually very interesting.
It does.
I don't know what this one is. It's kind of like a gelatinous.
Yeah, it looks quite. It actually looks kind of scary. Like the color of it is off-putting.
And then I also got a soup, which smells quite nice. We're still waiting for your pork cutlet, and I also think this sort of has to cook for a little longer before I can eat it, because I think it's quite hot. It's still sort of cooking. You can hear it like fry basically in the back. Nice bit of the red paste. I really started loving that red paste. Let's destroy the egg because it's still a little bit raw, and then start making it look ugly.
So supposedly this is what you are actually supposed to do with bibimbap. So you get the bowl as it is with everything together, and then you take something and just mix it with the red chili paste, and blend it all together into like sort of a chaos looking bowl full of ingredients, and then you are good to go.
It's kind of satisfactory to have like a really nice looking thing and then just make it look really ugly. I find that kind of nice. Okay. I kind of want to start by this like unidentifiable jelly. Ooh. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. It tastes like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Very interesting. I don't know what that jelly is supposed to be. Let's give the pickled cabbage a try. That one is amazing. As always, absolutely love all things pickled in Korea.
You could pickle anything and give it to Naomi and she'd love it. You could pickle your thumb and she'd love it.
I don't think so. I would like to question that one. Bibimbap. Absolutely amazing. This is actually way better than the other bibimbaps that we had tried before. We sort of tried a bibimbap from a food chain before, but it was like entirely cold, and that wasn't up to like the way I would have liked for it to taste.
Thank you.
Your food is ready.
Yes.
Go get your food.
감사합니다. Thank you.
This one here, on the other hand, with the bulgogi and with it being hot, it's very, very nice. Super, super tasty. And I also have a soup. Just gonna give it a quick try. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's just kind of like, maybe like a seaweed type of soup. Very tasty. And now Luke's pork cheese cutlet.
This looks like a picture perfect meal right here. So it's a pork cutlet that's packed full of cheese on the inside, and then it's basically like this looks to be like maybe like a shredded cabbage, maybe like almost like a coleslaw type of situation. Fried egg, looks like a perfectly fried egg with some sticky rice. Can't really go wrong there. I'm just gonna go in. I cannot for the life of me use these chopsticks, so I'm gonna go in here with the spoon, because they gave me one just in case. I'm sure that the spoon is for the soup, but yeah, I just can't handle those chopsticks. So actually, I'm gonna grab a piece of it like this. Do this here. Pop the egg open. There you go. Very good. Very crispy, super crispy. The texture as well of the pork, it's not like a gamey pork. Very subtle like texture and flavour to it, and the cheese is really overpowering. It's actually very nice.
You also got a sauce.
Some type of a sauce as well. I think
Maybe it's for the salads?
I'm not too sure what it is actually.
Oh, it's like a thicker
I'm gonna add some
browny
actually.
reddish.
I'm gonna just add some onto this and taste it and see what it is, because to be honest with you guys, I have absolutely no understanding yet as to a lot of the flavor combinations and stuff like that when it comes to Korean food. We've tried some stuff, but it's still very limited, especially in terms of my knowledge of this stuff. It's like a really light soy sauce. Basically what it is. Very good though. The flavor of it is not like nothing crazy. It's not like super salty or anything like that. But this egg with the sticky rice together, combined with the pork and the cheese, yeah, I think it's gonna be like it's a good combination of different flavors, and it's all stuff that I genuinely enjoy eating as well, like eggs and meat combined with a little bit of sticky rice. Rice has never been my favorite, but it's obviously a staple everywhere that we have been traveling pretty much for like the last 2.5 years now. But it's nice just to have a little bit on the side and to have the main feature of the dish be the meat. It's very, very good.
Yeah. Super happy with both of our dishes, I want to say, and yeah, we're just gonna enjoy it and basically have some breakfast kind of late in the day. It's 3:20, but it's our breakfast.
Now here I guess you can see a little bit of what we were kind of talking about in Seoul. So the combination of old and the ultra modern. So look at this here, this beautiful structure here, kind of just dead set in the middle of the street, and it's great to see that they have actually left it there. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's just literally sitting in the middle of the busy Seoul traffic. And then backdropped behind it, we've got the massive office block towers where the locals of Seoul are gonna be Monday to Friday working their butts off. So it's interesting to see that contrast here. And now we've made our way to possibly the most visited and sort of must-see temple. I'm not even going to try and properly pronounce it, but once we get the full name, we'll put it down here. But very excited to check it out and see if it differs at all from the last temple that we were just at. That food, by the way, is pretty nice. Nothing to shout about, but it was pretty good. It filled us up with what we need. And now, let's check this place out. You have to figure out where to go in first. Maybe it's here.
Now we have arrived at, I believe, Gyeongbokgung Temple. Probably vastly mispronouncing that one. And here is the ticket office again. But as we said, we already have the tickets because we bought this fine booklet, which basically lets us skip all of the queues, which is good here in this area because, as you can see, it is a vast place, but there's a lot of people. Might not necessarily look so crazy crowded looking around with the camera, but there's quite a few. So, and again, tourists, so like foreign tourists, same as local tourists. But now let's go and enter Gyeongbokgung Palace. Hopefully we're just gonna be able to go through with this one here. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다. 안녕하세요. We entered the temple. I really love that you have the view onto the national park here in the back. And also, I don't know if you can see that here on the roof. In Korea it also seems to be part of the culture to have the tile beasts or the rooftop monsters, whatever you want to call them. I believe they're called tile beasts, right?
Yeah, like the protectors.
The protectors, yes. And lots of people in the traditional Korean dresses out here as well, in order to take some beautiful pictures on the palace grounds. Wow, it is a hot and humid day today.
It's insanely hot. I don't know, like it is that season though, like we keep saying in every video. It's rainy and it's hot and it's like 90+% humidity.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the background of this, because just in the back of this temple is Bukhansan National Park. So it should basically be backdropped by beautiful mountains. And I think you can see that just through there, but obviously not with the camera, but we're going to take you through and hopefully you can see it better.
Yes.
It looks beautiful.
Yes, that national park is on our list and we are trying to get there, but so far it has been the case that it's sort of raining on and off and it's like danger of landslides, so we're sort of trying to weigh out the right moment basically to visit the national park. Wow. Check out this beautiful roof. It's so colorful, and there are so many little flowers here on the ceiling as well, and that again speaks about the integration of nature into the palaces itself. And here in the back you can see parts of the national park, which is so cool to see.
Unbelievable. This is stunning. I think this, in terms of like looks, it is probably a little bit nicer than the last palace that we were just at. But again, it's quite similar. It seems to be just kind of the layout of this, the Joseon dynasty architecture. And like we said, there's so many people out with their families and taking photos. It's very nice to be around. And I am already snapping lots of photos on my phone as well.
Yeah, this architecture here seems to be similar. So you have one courtyard there that you can close off with the doors basically, and then you walk into the next courtyard, which is this part here. Now the last temple that we've been at, I believe, is considered a secondary temple, and this one here is the primary temple, from the little knowledge that I have and the little reading that I did. It seems to be a lot vaster though, so this building here is a lot bigger and a lot sort of more precious, I believe, from the looks of it. Yeah, we made it to the main hall where the monarch would probably sit and welcome guests, I believe. The layout is pretty similar of the other palace that we had seen before. This one is just sort of feels like it is at a bigger scale. Other than that, it seems to be very sort of similar. This is more what I'm interested in, the beautiful nature in the backdrop. But wow, the work on this palace seems to be super amazing. Very intricate sort of woodwork everywhere. Ceilings are super colorful, which is probably difficult to see because of the light. But yeah, lots of decorations all around. Seems to be a very great place overall. And this place here seems to have maybe a little bit more courtyards than the other temple that we previously had visited. So it seems to be a little bit more of sort of a bigger structure, I suppose.
Wow, absolutely stunning place. We've made it now to what seems to be basically like a pavilion of sorts that's placed here on a body of water. It is incredible just how sort of blended in with the greenery, with the nature. It almost feels like this area here is supposed to be a part of the national park that is sitting just behind here. It doesn't feel like it's actually interrupted or destroyed much of an area at all. Very beautiful. Water is very calm. all in all, the energy here is quite positive.
Italy.
Italy?
I like it too.
You like Italy?
Yes.
Nice. Cool.
Netherlands too.
You're from Seoul?
Yes, thank you. I like
Cool.
Germany, I like the outside Europe, I like the Brazil.
Brazil?
Brazil.
Yeah. Good football.
Yes.
Yeah.
Argentina too.
Oh yeah, Argentina. Oh, bless you.
And I like the Messi, Neymar, good player too.
Neymar?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
And like the Brazil, like the Vinicius.
What about Ronaldo?
I like it the original Ronaldo, like too. Fat Ronaldo.
Oh, fat Ronaldo, yeah.
Favorite number one player. Like sure. Like favorite number one player, Fat Ronaldo. I like it the Zidane.
He's the best.
Dankeschön.
Have a nice day.
Oliver Kahn.
Oh, Oliver Kahn, yes.
Bye bye.
Gute Reise.
Thank you. Danke. Oh, what a gent. Came over to us and just asked us where we're from and then just immediately switched to German. Very cool. I thought for a second that he was someone trying to sell a tour, but that's not the case here. It's all done through like official tour operators, it seems, if you are going to get a tour, which is nice, but incredibly friendly. Random conversations with locals that we've been having ever since we came here. It's always very random, but nice guy.
Korea so far, by the way, is the least scammiest place in probably all of Asia.
100%, yeah. It's like
It's nearly too little scams.
people do not have any desire to take your money here in terms of that type of stuff, like in terms of scamming. When it comes to shopping and everything like that, that's where your money is going to be spent mostly. Like we said, it's very sort of focused on all of that stuff. But other than that, you're not going to be scammed at all here, so it's very, very safe. Everything is very official. But that was a little bit of a look inside of that gorgeous, to be honest, very, very beautiful palace grounds. I think I actually preferred this one to the last one, if I'm being honest. Now we're going to check out a traditional village. Again, hopefully try and tap into a little bit more of the Korean culture here in Seoul. This place we're heading to now is called Bukchon Hanok Village.
It's very close to the actual palace.
Close enough, yeah.
The amount of pictures taken in
Yeah.
South Korea is just absolutely insane.
It's crazy. So both of the palaces that we went to, 99% of what's happening at them is photos. Everybody's just snapping photos non-stop. That's the main thing. I think the actual learning about what the place is and having an understanding about it, that's like very much in the background. It's more about getting a nice Instagram photo.
People here must have like an insane phone storage.
An insane phone storage.
My phone could never.
And their social media must be on point as well, unlike us. Well, let's head off now into the traditional village and see what that's about. Alright guys, so we've made our way here to Bukchon Hanok, and you've got to keep your voices down. So between the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. it's okay to visit, Gesundheit. And yeah, you have to respect those visiting hours because it is quite literally buried into a residential area. So we're going to check the place out. So far, first impressions, it seems to just be a place where they've turned traditional houses basically into places to sell things like souvenirs and stuff like that. Other than that, there's a couple of these types of places here where you can like basically wander in and check out the inner workings of what some of these places might look like. But this here is actually also a souvenir shop. So they're selling like types of handcraft stuff basically. And yeah, we're gonna have a walk around and see what we can see.
I think that one is selling perfumes.
Selling perfumes, cool.
I saw online a lot of places here in this area as well. You can like make your own perfume.
Yeah.
Or make your own phone case. So it's just about kind of, I guess, creativity in this area a little bit more.
Yeah. It's a little bit more of a hipster type of a vibe, I guess. We'll see what we can see. See if we can see some cool houses.
There's a lot of construction sites going on.
There is quite a lot of construction and reconstruction and probably maintenance, because I'm sure a lot of this has been here for a very, very long time.
That's right, you guys. I think we found the main picture taking spot, which is this place here, where you have sort of the modern houses on the left and the right. If you look sort of around the corners here, there's more like modern type of architecture going on, but this one street here seems to be like the designated traditional village, I want to say. You do have to remind yourself though, these are just places where people live. So like if you're sitting on people's stairs and so on, I don't know if they necessarily appreciate that so much, if there's all of the time people directly on their doorstep. So cute. I just need to quickly walk through the picture because I feel like if you stop for everybody to take their picture, you're never gonna even walk your way. So yeah, again, just the way I said it, like there's just people living here. Like this is just somebody's neighborhood, like no somebody's entry door basically.
Passcodes on the door and everything. Can you imagine the value of this property?
Yeah.
Probably. They're making serious money here, probably inherited as well.
Yeah. These are probably sort of multi-generational houses all along here. And you also have neighborhood auntie that is making sure that you're not screaming or whatever, which I can totally understand. Like if this was my property and I was to live here and you would have the tourists on your doorstep 24/7 every single day, I think after a while you would also be like, can you please be a little bit quiet or something?
Would be a nightmare.
Would be a nightmare, yeah. Some of these places though are hotels. This one, for example, seems to be a hotel. Others, just normal neighborhood sort of vibe here. But yeah, up here it does actually look really nice and really traditional, so probably the further you go up, the more traditional it gets. That's usually the vibe that you get with a lot of these traditional villages in Asia. The further up, the more traditional. And down there, or up there, you can even see the auntie holding the sign to be quiet. Which again, I totally understand. My God. It is a very nice vibe overall though. I think I might have lost Luke. Here's Luke.
It was quite interesting actually to see while we were walking through there that they had people standing around, like holding signs. They literally were holding signs and telling people to not speak loudly because there was a gigantic amount of tourists, and like I mean probably around 500 or 600 people like at one time that are all moving around that it's a very small little area where those traditional houses are. Now don't get me wrong, the houses themselves, the way it looks is spectacular, like genuinely gorgeous. The way the light as well sort of comes down, it provides like plenty of photo opportunities, just like you see here. But like that's basically 99% of what it is, if I'm being totally honest, is basically all of what we've experienced today is people taking photos of each other, which again, this is not like me just being negative, it's just genuinely saying it how we experienced it. I was hoping by going to these particular areas that you would sort of be able to gain some knowledge from the stuff, or even like be able to speak to some people. Or there's a couple shops here and there, but most of them are selling things like fridge magnets and stickers and stuff like that.
I do feel like generally though this neighborhood doesn't necessarily want the tourists, other than like select other than select hotels and maybe some fridge magnet selling places. Other than that, I really got the general vibe like the neighborhood doesn't actually want to be a tourist place. Like the majority of the places literally says, do not talk, please be quiet, don't come up here, don't walk up this street, don't do this, don't do that. So
don't touch stuff.
Yeah, which I understand. Again, like if I was to live there, I would feel the same. But like then it's just not a tourist place. End of story.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Like I said, if you're coming with a camera, if you have like a professional camera and you're into taking like street photography or stuff like this, well then this is the place for you. If you're not into it and you want to learn about the history of Korea, you want to understand certain things, certain aspects about culture, or to understand about the people who built those houses, for example, well then I'd say go somewhere else. Probably a museum or something like that. There is plenty of like museums and things that you can go to. I really want to go next, actually, probably soon, before we leave Seoul, to the War Memorial, for example. There's a lot, I'm sure, of information there. But I suppose what I'm trying to say, and what we're trying to say in this video, is the general feeling of it is we're struggling a little bit with the aspect of gathering an understanding as to what is going on. It's very much about consumerism, like we said, capitalism. A lot of everything is sort of like, if you can see, it looks beautiful, and the front of everything, the face of everything looks beautiful. People are very, very focused on what they have and what they look like.
And don't
Whereas it only goes so far.
And don't get us wrong as well, like we're not coming here just to complain about everything. It's just more so that we are struggling to get any depth to it. It just seems to be like the majority of locals, at least in Seoul, we cannot speak about other places at all, they kind of just want to be left alone, and that's a fair point. I also want to be left alone the majority of the time, but like from a foreigner's perspective, it's just difficult to get any depth, any cultural understanding, any sort of appreciation for the culture itself, other than playing dress up and taking pictures of yourself, which is not necessarily maybe an angle that we would take as travelers to this country.
Yeah, like I said, today it was just basically, we've been outside now for like a solid 6 hours.
Yeah.
Walking, we've gone to 2 palaces, we've gone there, we've gotten food, we've gotten etc. We've also been walking around off camera, and it just feels like it is, obviously it's a capital city of a country, and not many people actually enjoy capital cities. So like I said, once we venture outside of Seoul, I'm sure things take a very different picture, and it probably gets a lot more real and a lot more less sort of, I almost want to say, it feels like it's just, Seoul feels like it's striving to be like where we come from, and that it feels that way because we see things like gigantic shopping malls that are full of Western brands, just endless amounts of people that are focused on buying fashion and makeup and everything like this.
Which is totally fine as long as it's like happening in balance with the culture of the country, and I feel like that cultural aspect is just missing. Like, don't get us wrong, also when you go to China or to Indonesia or to wherever you might go, there's giant malls, there are a lot of Western brands there as well, but it's usually well balanced with a very strong representation of local culture.
Yeah.
And that culture part is just missing.
Yep.
Other than on the surface level.
Overall, so far,
it could, by the way, also be a product of mass tourism. Might also be that like so many people annually visit Seoul that it's just so many tourists here that people don't want to share the culture anymore.
Oh, mass tourism.
Tourism, yeah. So it could be a product, like it could be because of that as well. Like, I don't know.
I think it has a large amount to do with combination of a couple things. So you guys have Confucianism in Korea. That Confucianist ideology combined with capitalist ideology probably doesn't go too well together. That combined with a massive amount of Western expats that are obviously coming here constantly, including us as tourists coming in here, and it all blends together and kind of you get what you get. We're just being honest about how we feel about it. Overall, it's a very comfortable and very convenient country in terms of feeling like we actually understand the place. We have still, after like a week of being here, have genuinely no understanding of what's going on unless we go online or buy some books and read about it. But we're going to try, and we're going to continue to try to get in contact with more local people and to understand this place a bit more. But overall, the feeling is somewhere here.
Yeah, and like, again, everything is just sort of nice. It's nice to look at, it's nice to be at, it's nice food, it's like nice, but there's no ups and there's no downs. It's just one level of nice.
Yeah.
And that's not bad at all. Like,
if I could give a temperature reading to South Korea, it would be lukewarm.
Yeah.
So like everything is just in the middle. Kind of just, it's clean. It's safe. It's actually, like, if you want to say it in terms of like living in a country, it's up there with one of the best countries. There's obviously huge amounts of struggle as well though. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but women are quite literally deciding to just stop having children here due to a lot of different circumstances. That's a massive issue that is facing Korea at the moment. The birth rate here is decreasing year over year over year. The same thing is happening in Japan, the same thing is happening in China as well, which is very unfortunate, but it has to do with a lot of different factors, and one of those factors is the crazy overdevelopment of a country, the mass modernization of stuff. We are facing the exact same issues in Europe.
I think it's also
that's why we fled Europe. But yeah,
overworking of the society, and then obviously not creating enough space even to have children, or financial issues that come with that as well.
Yeah.
So I do think as well that that's like one of the takeaways that I had gotten in Korea, is that a lot of the women aren't having children because there's very little maternity leave, there's no incentive to have kids, but on the other hand it's very expensive, so it's just a very niche level of society that can actually afford to have the kids as well. And also quite a high suicide rate in Korea as well, right?
Yeah, unfortunately Korea also topped the charts for a while now, I think, in the suicide rates. So unfortunately, if you guys understand why that is, let us know. We're just here to be as transparent as we can, and we just want to let you know that sometimes when you go to a country, especially as a travel vlogger, because we've been traveling so many countries over the last 3 years, but sometimes you just go to a country that you just don't gel with, that kind of makes you depressed and sucks you into like a little bit of a hole, and I think that's what's happening to us, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean that we hate this country. It quite literally means that we came here with probably a set of expectations. If I'm being honest, I came here with my expectations quite literally up in space, and I think that I was met with considerably less, but that's hugely my own fault, I think.
I don't know. I genuinely wanted to love Korea, so I came here. I didn't come here with like sky high expectations or whatever. I just came here the same way I rock up to every other country together with Luke. And I don't know, I just genuinely wanted to love the place, but at the moment, maybe because we haven't really found the one thing that we really enjoy or the perspective that is worth telling, I guess. I don't know, it just feels a little bit flat for me. Also, we have been both of us have been really trying to come up with creative ideas of what to cover here in the country. And we've been trying, but so far it really that one perspective that makes you go, wow, I'm so motivated, I'm so intrinsically wanting to cover this place so much. It just didn't happen here. And that's okay. Not every country has to vibe with you as a person, and I guess that's just what happened here. It's alright. Not so bad.